Anybody remember that? How are you all doing tonight? How's everybody doing tonight? I apologize for the audio. We'll get it right in just a moment or two. In the meantime and in between time, how's everybody doing tonight? Is everybody all right? I said, is everybody all right? The audio, we're fine tuning it. The audio will be better in just a moment. Give me about 20 seconds and we'll get the audio where it needs to be. In the meantime and in between time, let me say it like Ralph from Ben Hill used to say, I be's your brother, Sherman from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Atlanta born, I'm Atlanta bred. When I die, be Atlanta dead. You understand what I said? Did you hear me? Can anybody hear me? I said, I'm Atlanta born, I'm Atlanta bred. When I die, I'll be Atlanta dead. Atlanta's my hometown. Atlanta's where my heart can be found. I will always love my city. How's everybody doing tonight? I greet you from Los Angeles, California. Those of you who are tuning in from Switzerland, God bless you. How y'all doing? Those of you in Israel, hello, 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 hello. Those of you in San Jose, California, in Guam, in the United Kingdom, wherever you are listening to this particular podcast tonight, I want to thank you for your time. I thank you for your attention. And let me ask you to do me a favor. Can you send someone a text message or an email or give them a call and tell them to tune in to this podcast right now? Let's get more live listeners listening in while in real time while we're doing this podcast. Just take a moment right now. Take about a minute or two and call 3 or 4 of your friends or text them and tell them that crazy entrepreneur, the guy who was crazy enough to write 22 books thus far, 43 years old, 22 books, and an entrepreneur, motivational speaker, truth seeker, Sherman D. Manning is on the line, and tell him I want to know what's on their mind. Tune in right now to this podcast, the Sherman D. Manning Podcast. Now, any of you who know anything about me know that I love politics. I've always said that if you learn to understand politics, you will understand everything. Life is about politics. The only person who's not political is God. Every other entity you deal with on planet Earth is going to be political in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I guarantee you that. They are all political. We are political animals, whether we know it or not. So you may as well master politics. And I'll submit to you again, he that masters politics will master business. You will master anything that you're trying to deal with, from a business to a church, from a for-profit to a non-profit. If you understand politics, you will understand life. Life is full of politics. And so I always try to tell, especially Hispanics and African Americans, poor whites, all of whom are locked out of the powers that be. And the quicker we realize that, the better we will be as people. The quicker we realize that there's one commonality between minorities and poor folk. Be those poor people white, black, dark, or light, is that they're all locked out of the powers that be, locked out of the corridors of power. And when Donald is on the phone colluding with Putin, poor people are the last thing on his mind. The only thing he says about the poor is throw them a couple of bones every now and then to keep them happy and to keep them from uprising or engaging in some type of insurrection or melees. And if that were to happen, they would declare martial law. But they give poor people enough to keep them in check. Do you understand? And I don't want to frustrate anybody, but do you understand how wealthy this country is? Let me ask you this. Have you ever thought about the fact that we print money every day in this country? We print money. I know it's a capitalistic society. I get that. And I'm not necessarily opposed to the capitalistic society, but keep in mind that I'm biased. It's the only system that I know. If I knew something about Marxism, if I knew something about socialism experientially, I might be more in favor for a system such as that, where everybody just got an issue and we all were equal, etc. But even in a capitalistic society, when I look at homeless people and people sleeping outside in tents, it fascinates me when I remember that this country prints money every day. We print currency. And, it would take a presidential order to get the United States government to take a couple of million of those dollars that we print every day and give it to the people who are sleeping on the streets so that they can get houses. And then it begins to back to what I said at the beginning, at the genesis of this monologue, and that is you have to understand politics. Because if you understand politics, you will understand that we have to have poor people. Poor people make the world go round. Poor people make the world go round. Y'all hear that kissing? I'm trying to get that dog over here. She's I guess it's a she. Looks like a chihuahua. Very cute. Kept going. My wife had one of those. Got on my nerves. But anyway, poor people make the world go round. Even Jesus said the poor you will have with you always. We're always going to have some poor people in the world, okay? And society banks on that. I don't want to frighten anybody. I don't want to frustrate anybody. I don't want to upset anybody. But always keep that at the back of your mind, that we print money every day. And that all of these politicians who run to the White House and run to the Congress and run to the United States Senate and tell you how much they're going to fight for the poor, and no longer will the poor have to write a letter, but they'll have access to the corridors of power. Number one, they're lying to you. Every last one of them is lying to you. I hate to say that. And keep in mind, again, this is coming from a guy who loves politics. They're lying to you. They're not going to let you in the corridors of power. You will never have a seat at the table, except for a handout or a hand-me-down. If they wanted you to be inside, they will let you inside. But the only way you're going to get inside is you have to pay your way inside. And if you don't have any money, you won't get any honey. And that ain't funny, but I'm being honest with you. We print money. If we, as a society, decided tomorrow that we wanted to feed every hungry person and house every homeless person in America, on the planet for that matter, but especially in America, we could do that with a stroke of a pen. We have the money, we have the resources, we have the houses, we have the land, we have the territory. But the political system and the capitalistic society is set up the way that we have this great country set up. It's set up in such a way as we bank on there being a certain amount of poor people in this country at all times. We make money off the poor. You realize how many industries are propped up because of homelessness? The people who pass out food, the people who get food, the people who buy the food to be passed out, the people who donate the food to be, the people who own the buildings that house the food, that houses the food that is used to pass out to the poor. All of these services and aid that is rendered, all that's money. It's a money machine. It's a money making business. It's a money making scheme. Yes, people profit off of homelessness. I don't have time to get into it, but just believe me when I say understand politics. The more you understand about politics, the more the way the world operates, the way the world systems work will become clearer to you, and you'll become a much more intelligent young man and a much more intelligent young lady, okay? In the meantime and in between time, may I take this moment to just do a station break, pause for station identification, to give a word for the sponsor, to thank the man upstairs who woke me up this morning and started me on my way. Y'all gonna pray with Sherman a minute. He didn't have to wake you this morning, but that man did. Y'all don't hear me. I don't know. I really don't know how y'all feel about it, but I'm glad to be in the service one more time. You hear me? I could have been dead, sleeping in my grave, but he made oh, death behave. I'm glad, oh hey, I'm glad, Sister Shirley. I'm glad, Brother Rick. I'm glad to be alive and kicking it one more time. I don't know. I don't know about you, but I'm so glad he woke me up this morning, started me on my way all night long. He was over me in the form of angel. He stood around my bedside, and then right early this morning, without the usage of an alarm clock to wake me up, he woke me on due time this morning. I've been a bad boy. I've been a bad boy. But in spite of all the wrong I did, His grace and His mercy sustained me and brought me to where I am now. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I want to take a minute to say thank you. Anybody thankful tonight? Is there anybody want to say thank you? Has He been good to you? Has He been good? Oh, good time. Oh, good time. Oh, He been good to me. He been good to me. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh. Glory. I praise God today. I thank God. I just had to get that off my chest, y'all. You know I'm a preacher all the way down to my toenails. No matter how many businesses I own, no matter how much money I've made, no matter how many cars God has blessed me to have, no matter how many houses I've been able to buy, none of that matters. Look at what I'm